and yet the Olympic Games of ancient Greece are still banned. The ancient Olympic Games seem to have first started in 776 BC. However, there are several sources that place the dating of the first and initial organization quite far back. In these ancient games, barbarians, non-Greeks, slaves, sacrilegious murderers did not compete, but neither were they conducted by such. The women did not compete either, as they took part in the Women's Olympics. The competition was organized, supervised by the Hellenic judges of Ilia. All kinds of hostilities then stopped, even wars, and death sentences were even suspended. Athletes competed naked and were awarded with a wreath of olive branches. In 339 AD, in the midst of the great effort that had already been made since earlier years for the de-Hellenization of the Greeks, their religious leveling, the territory they bring, the prohibition of Hellenization, the compulsory imposition of Christianity and all this under penalty of death, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I forbade the continuation of the Olympic Games because they were allegedly pagan, whereas the ancient Greeks were idolaters and not pagans. Yes, they were pagans. Now, since they were organized in honor of Zeus, now the revival of the Olympic Games was made by the French Baron Pierre de Coubertin and the Greek Demetrius Vikelatos in 1896 in Athens. But do you see the Olympics of then being connected today? There may still be some common points and elements, like the flame and some others, but beyond that, in our opinion, there is nothing else, not even any development, with the exception of technology and the addition and removal of races. On the contrary, everyone is hijacking the Olympic idea, the ideal, and using it for profit mainly, for manipulating, brainwashing, programming, but also the gradual abolition of the right to freedom of opinion and expression, which means that no one suffers adverse consequences for any of his opinions in accordance with Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Furthermore, have you wondered, in honor of what god are the modern Olympics Games held? If we look at the recent Olympics of 2008 in Beijing and 2012 in London, we can see a lot. But the Rio 2016 Olympics also seem to be dedicated to Yahweh. Another typical example is China's Olympic Stadium, which resembles a reptile's eye. China's Olympic Stadium resembling the eye of a reptilian. Unfortunately, the actual ancient Olympic Games and the ancient spirit immortal that have been banned by Theodosius, and their ban is still valid today. The modern neo-taxi Olympic Games, or the dominant ones, are only euphemistically called that. The events and the whole organization are dedicated to the honor of some other god, some god suspect, since the organizers are still reluctant to state it outright. Instead, they hide this god, their god, in symbols that simply foreshadow it. But it's also much more likely that the events are dedicated in honor of some who believe they are gods themselves and act accordingly. This is by an article I've translated for you from Greek. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.